is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, January 6th, 2023, first show of the year. From Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson.
From Powell, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the HomeTech Podcast, a podcast all about all aspects of home technology, home news, home automation news, all the good stuff that's coming out of CES. Talking about a little bit about that this week. But first up, this is the 1 year anniversary for you guys joining me. I tried to do this for a year myself. It did not work out well, but since you guys have been hanging around, man, we've managed to do pretty good. So thanks for coming aboard. This has been awesome.
Oh yeah, I got a little emotional when I realized, the other day it was the 1 year. That year flew fast.
It did. You wrote that, and I'm like, I don't know, it can't be right, but yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't think we even missed the show. I mean, other than the little break we took at Christmas there, but I think we were pretty consistent this year.
Yeah, not bad. Way better than what I was doing.
Yeah, pretty surprising. It's been a year already. I didn't even realize it. We were talking in the Slack channel today about an earlier episode about this magic door that's coming out. And I was like, we talked about that earlier in the year sometime. And it was like the very first episode we all did together. So pretty funny how it all rounded back up today.
Yeah. It's, what's old is new again. Like everything just is on repeat. So, I mean, we've got our own like social network now, right? We're gonna the Mastodon server has been trying to keep up with all of the pressures of a decaying social network called Twitter, and I basically this month had to turn off the open invites or the open enrollment, I guess, and now you have to type in something to be approved, which as long as you don't type in anything that doesn't look like you're a bot, then we approve you. So I think that's the rule, unless Gavin's just approving everyone still. I don't know.
Well, even me blindly approving anybody, it's still less than all those other bots that were coming in were just killing us. So I pretty much approve everybody, and I follow some whenever they have a witty, little reason. I also follow that person because they look like they'll be fun.
Yeah, you could say like, "Hi, Gavin," and get it. And that would be instant approval right there, right?
Oh, if they say we love HomeTech.fm, that's insta follow right there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. 1,400 active users, just over 1,400 active users.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's been a full-time job. I swear I've been like every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes I get dinged with a new person applying. Like, it's good to see, but it's a full-time job.
Well, and it's pretty good too to see too, because it's like a lot of people are active. I guess there's a decent amount of people that are posting, but you can actually go and look at the stats of everybody that's joined. And most of the people have been active within the past couple of weeks at least. So even if they're bots, they're active.
Yeah.
Good bots.
Good bots. Exactly. Yeah, there's been almost 5,000 interactions. I know it on the back end. There's been like millions of things processed. Let's see, 1.8 million things processed. Like queues have been processed. So that's pretty cool. I it's been fun. A little like harrowing at times because it kind of slowed down for a bit. And I was out to dinner last week, and all of a sudden I got a notification saying the server had been like 118% CPU load for the past 2 hours.
Nice.
And I'm like, I probably should check that when I get home, reboot something.
Might be something wrong.
Yeah. I made some changes. I made some quick changes and also limited who could sign up to the, just say, hi, I like home technology, and we let you in basically, or hi Gavin, or we love Gavin.
You can literally say anything. You can say Apple. I mean, you can put a letter 8.
No, well, yeah, there's a lot that are joining. They're like, I like social networks, and it's like, no, sweet child, you're not getting in. So like that robot got rejected, but there's a lot of they can go find somewhere else to play if they really want to get on. So
didn't somebody say they wanted to post like bad content they couldn't post other places too?
Yes.
Yeah. They wanted to post something and not get banned, and I insta followed them because I'm curious what they wanted to post.
It's too good. Well, keep an eye on that. HomeTech.social is the address for that. It's a weird URL, but it's kind of like where I really think that I think that the tech crowd that I've seen has kind of migrated away from Twitter. A lot of the tech crowd has, and I've noticed like news organizations actually starting up their own servers, and publishing alongside Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. They're just using it as another outlet. But it'll be really interesting to see what happens to this thing in a couple of years. It's still very early on and it still has very limited features, but the way this is all set up, like Mastodon and whatever we're logging into here doesn't necessarily have to be like the be all end all of what feature sets we get. I think once this, new wave of people get in and it reaches some kind of critical mass, we're going to see some pretty interesting stuff come from it. It may look different in a year or two. We may have a lot more, like from what I saw, Tumblr was like going to integrate with this. It's basically just an API that if you have a Tumblr account, you can follow that person and they can publish over at Tumblr and you're good to go. So like that's a piece of old school technology, but for Mastodon, it doesn't care. It's like, here is who is talking and what they're saying, and it just publishes it out on the timeline, I guess. It's pretty cool. So aside from bot accounts, what did you guys get from Santa there?
Oh, well, it was a pretty good Christmas. Mainly I got golf stuff, right? Like I golf a lot during the summer and it's an expensive hobby. So I always, add it to my list for Christmas so I don't have to pay for it. So I got a bunch of golf stuff for Christmas. I'm happy about that. One cool thing I got was actually I bought the wife a photo printer. So, we take a lot of photos, but we always, you never really print any of them out. So this just prints 4x6s. And it's just easy. It's an air printer. You just go on your phone and you print it out. It works out to about like 40 cents a photo. So it's not meant for like mass printing, but when you want to just print one here, one there, and give it to a friend or something like that, it's great to have to put in the photo album, stuff like that. So it was actually a cool little thing. It's so easy to use and it looks really good.
Just doubling down on the printer, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Haven't had enough printer problems. Just going to add another one to the mix.
Not enough pain.
But you know what was really cool? As soon as I turned it on and added it to the network, Home Assistant popped up and said, "Hey, I see this photo printer here. Do you want to add it?" And then as soon as it went to sleep, it said, "Hey, the photo printer is now offline. Please fix it." So, like I took it on a Home Assistant right away.
It'd be pretty cool. You like make a little integration that every time you open your front door, it takes a picture of you and then
it prints it out like a receipt. Yeah, so you can take it with you.
That'll get expensive really quick.
Yeah,
40 cents a doorbell ring.
Go right through that ink.
TJ, what about you?
Nothing exciting technology wise. I got a bunch of clothing, which for me, I'm all right with because I hate buying clothing for myself. So anytime somebody gives me clothing, I'm pretty happy with that. So we luckily spent Christmas down in Florida this year. We got the flu while we were down there, so we didn't get to spend actual Christmas with anybody besides ourselves. But we got to spend the rest of the week with some family, so that was worth it alone.
Yeah, welcome to Florida. I'm glad your stay was eventful.
It wasn't terrible. It was cold up in Ohio, and it got to like 30 to 50 degrees in Orlando. So we were going to be cold no matter where we were. But at least we weren't cold in Ohio.
You're lucky that's all you got in Florida.
Yeah, because in Ohio it was negative 30 degrees. So
I mean the flu.
The flu, yeah. It's the only disease you picked up while you were down here.
Are you sure?
You know of.
Yeah, the other ones we'll
find out about those
you'll
later.
know later. Exactly.
It's not a problem right now.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I got some clothes, which was awesome because I don't like buying clothes at all. So yeah,
it's the worst thing to buy.
Clothes as gifts is great, and I got one of these things like it's called a POW kitty. I don't know. It's supposed to be like an emulator with all like.
I like its happy face in the middle. That's cool.
Happy face on it. I don't know. Let's see. Focus. There we go. Anyway,
just act like it's your face.
It doesn't work, so we're trying to figure out how to get it to get it. They just need to send a new one, I think. So we'll see what happens there. They're like, no,
is this like a legit product or?
No, it's not. Okay. It's like a legit product, but it's got like tons of like ROMs on it, I guess, where you can like play the old games and whatnot. And I thought that would be kind of cool. And it just doesn't turn on. And we talked to the company and they're like, well, just reformat the SD card. And I was like, okay, I'll do that, but it's not turning on.
It doesn't turn on.
Yeah. Like, well, no, it is turning on. Just reformat the SD card. And I'm like, but I did that and it's still not turning on. Like, at this point, I'm just going to I'm telling my wife, I'm like, just tell them we did all of it. And it's not turning on. And they just, I don't know. We'll see what happens with it.
It's your problem.
Yeah. I got new pants. So,
Ooh, the pants.
Yeah, exactly. So excited. And I got the Snoop Dogg cookbook. So Gavin and I gonna have like cooking competitions or something. We're gonna.
I gave you 2 recipes: the Snoop Dogg spaghetti and meatballs, delicious, and the Snoop Dogg mac and cheese, delicious. Try those 2 first.
I'm gonna try them. Yeah, yep. Those are 2. What do we call it? Signature dishes here in this house. So if Snoop does better than the previous chefs, then yeah, he'll get high marks for that one. So
you guys keep it up. We'll have to have a cook-off when we go to CEDIA next year.
right.
This year, not even next year.
And it's in Denver, so we can actually add the third leg of that element into it pretty easily.
There you go.
Yep. All right. Moving on here. What do you say we've got some HomeTech headlines to jump into, but we also have a little bit of pre-game CES to do, right? We're pre-gaming CES to try and cover a couple of the stories. I guess that like CES starts tomorrow as we record this, and I don't know, like a lot of the companies like do about a week's worth of PR push to get their stories out ahead of time, and that's kind of what we can talk about today. But we'll probably have a little bit more next week. So what do you say we jump into some HomeTech headlines?
Let's do it.
All right. We'll get some that from last year, the end of last year that kind of came through. And one of the big things that we were talking about towards the end of last year was this story from Eufy and how they were exposing their cameras, I guess, to the cloud when they were saying they weren't. It's an Anchor brand. It positions its security cameras as prioritizing local storage and no clouds. And it issued a statement at the end of the year and responding to a couple of recent findings by security researchers and tech news sites, admitting to that they could do better, but also leaving out a few other issues being unaddressed. In a thread titled I guess that's regarding recent security claims against Eufy Security. Eufy official writes to its security customers and partners, and they misspelled customers, but you got to do what you do. You got to do better. Eufy is taking a new approach to home security. And the company writes it's designed to operate locally wherever possible to avoid cloud servers. Video footage, facial recognition, and identity biometrics are all managed on devices, not in the cloud. So, they have kind of this all seemed like clickbait stuff from The Verge towards the end of the year. Yeah, they were just like, Eufy's lying to us, Eufy, and jumping up and down about something that some security, I'm going to put in quotes, expert. I don't know who this guy is. Like he could be an actual security researcher, but he found out that when you turned on this feature that said push notifications, it sent an image to your phone, and that image was hosted on an Amazon server, which is pretty much how push notifications work. And the Eufy's like, yeah, that's how push notifications work. We should probably just add a label to our app telling people that when you turn this on, it does use a cloud server for the image that appears on your phone. So I don't know. Like, I just don't get why this was so overblown as it was. And like, I don't have a leg in this fight at all. Like, I do not care about Eufy at all. Like, it's probably a good product if for what it does. I don't even know how much they cost. I don't care how much they cost. I'll never buy one because I don't care about them. But the coverage on this was absolutely insane. And then the rabid, like, latching on by people on the internet were like, I'm never buying an Anchor branded thing ever again because of this. It's like, but they make power outlets. Like, how is that even comparable? I don't know. Like, it's the internet being the internet towards the end of the year when there were absolutely no tech stories, I guess. And I don't know what to think about it. I think it was just completely overblown and not even an issue. I think Eufy actually responded correctly by fixing the problem that people addressed, and they actually fixed the actual bigger security. It was a researcher could confirm that if you weren't logged into a Eufy account, you could watch the camera stream given a URL. And turns out that's like, if you share that camera's URL with your friend, they can watch the camera feed and whatnot. And I guess that's a big deal. And Eufy actually turned on like a feature where it says you had to be logged in now to watch that. Like, even if you didn't have a Eufy account, you have to register, get a Eufy account, and you have to be logged in to watch it. So like, they've shut down that feature. So I think they've responded to all this stuff. Like, they haven't lied in my book, but I don't know. TJ, what do you think? We were talking about this before the show. You kind of had a slightly different opinion, I think, on this.
I think it's a little overblown, but I understand where people are coming from, because I think Anchor is like one of these darling companies of the internet. You know, a lot of people I know have Anchor products somewhere along the line. They're buying Anchor chargers or cables or batteries or whatever else. So I think it's mainly people just feeling betrayed by a company they've used for so long now. And these people are never going to get their money back for these products. So if you bought this product for this reason, you bought a product that's not going to do what you wanted, and you're never going to get your money back from it. So like, while I understand that it's a little overblown, I understand also where people are coming from. And I think at the end of the day, if I bought one of these products for this reason and it wasn't true, I would also be upset.
But if they went and fixed it and they changed it and you can turn off the notifications, are you still upset now? Like, now it's local.
I mean, they didn't fix it though, right? Because they had a feature there that was supposedly doing that. That's now gone.
No, it's all fixed.
And what do you mean?
Like, if you turn on, you can adjust. You can say, well, I want push notifications to come to my phone with the picture. If you don't have it set with a picture, then it doesn't send anything to the cloud other than the push notification. Like,
right, but that feature is now gone, because you're not going to, if you want that local only, you're not going to get that picture with it, because that's going to go to the cloud still, which is what it's always done.
Yeah.
But that's not why people bought it. They were under the impression that it wasn't doing that.
I guess that's,
I mean, and it's a silly thing, right? Like, we all understand it's a silly thing because it's a push notification. It's probably going somewhere in order to deliver the push notification, right?
Has to, yeah.
Like, that's how all push notifications work. But if you bought this product because it said it wasn't doing that and it's doing that, I mean, that's a little deceiving. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it's that big of a deal myself, but I also haven't spent several $100s on these products. So
yeah.
And I just think it was slow news. They're making a big deal out of this. And my thought is, there's so many other companies too doing similar things
and not fixing it, not caring,
and not fixing it. And Ufi just became the target of the moment, right? Like, there's so many companies we can go after doing the exact same thing, but it's a non-news story. Like, if I had these cameras, I won't. But if I had and I found this out, I'd be like, oh well, my notifications still work. You know, like, I wouldn't make such a big deal out of it. I'm not going to cancel the whole brand. I'm still going to buy an Anchor cable and stuff like that.
If nerds didn't care about Anchor, you wouldn't hear about this. If it was like an average consumer company, you wouldn't hear about it at all. I mean, that's the honesty behind it.
And I think a lot of people were jumping on it and making so much noise, and I don't even think they really read the full articles. No, they were just going by the headlines.
Oh,
Most
no,
people
absolutely.
we're canceling Anchor, and they're just going by the headlines.
That's what the internet does. I mean, it never reads into a situation; it just reads the title.
I will kind of go against that a little bit. The Verge's coverage was just by, I'll mention his name here, Sean Hollister, was just absolutely abysmal. Like, it was the most unprofessional thing I've ever seen. Like, blaming a company for fixing a security issue and then just saying, well, they didn't contact me when they fixed it and tell me what they did. It was like, that's literally what his articles looked like and read like. There was like a little temper tantrum over it. And he just like kept fanning those flames for clickbait, clearly, towards the end of a slow news year. And I don't know, like, it just wasn't good journalism. And what it does for me, and why I would be upset about this, is like, these are good products. This is what you want a company to do. You want them to fix and respond to things when it hits the press, or somebody finds an issue. You don't want them to just like go dark on you, like it was Gavin was saying. But like, all the people who hit the Verge site and read this and go, oh man, I was going to get some security cameras, but now I think I'll just hold, like, it just scares everybody away who is just a normal person away from getting home technology. Whereas they may have gotten this and like been totally happy with it and totally, now have a way more secure product than they did a week before. But now they think it's a tainted brand because of this guy's coverage and what he was doing just clearly to get clicks at the end of the year. It's kind of pretty pathetic the way that those stories were written, the headlines were written. We'll link to the Ars Technica story, which actually had a pretty good, like, more level-headed write-up, I guess, about it, by Kevin Purdy, which I will link to in the show notes. I'm not going to link to The Verge on that one again because it was pretty garbage.
No, the Ars Technica one's a good one. And it actually goes into some of the problems that they still have and some other things. So I think it's definitely worth the look into if you're curious about the subject.
Yep. And again, so people have to understand products will have security flaws. There will be a way that somebody hacks into a product eventually, somehow. Because guess what? All of these products are made by humans. They all have flaws. And humans cannot write perfect code. It just cannot be done. Trust me. Even like, I'm sure somebody wrote code for 1+1, like somebody would find a way to break it. It's just, it doesn't work that way in the computer world. And so what you want to have happen is when something like this comes up, that the company reacts and has a method update and has a way to fix these things in a timely manner. And Eufy did all that. And for them to just like sit there and hammer on them because they didn't personally call this guy up over at The Verge and have a sit down conversation with him, when it's like, I'm pretty sure Eufy is probably not a like in the middle of the holidays, like really giving much priority to what's going on over at The Verge. Yeah. I don't know. Like it really rubbed me the wrong way as far as the coverage went, because it was at the end of the day going to scare people away from what is actually, to me, appears to be a pretty good brand, who is able to actually update their products. Because a lot of these companies white label this stuff and they're like, well, we'll send it on up the chain and, maybe the programmers in China will rewrite the code and give us a new version. That stuff gets really, really kind of crazy when you find out like all the ODM and partners and how that stuff works. So it's good that they were able to actually correct this stuff and roll out changes fairly quickly, it seems. So anyway, enough on that. We got another story towards it. And speaking of hacking, I guess this is a hack. I'm
this
not
is
sure.
Proper hacking.
This is proper quotes. Yeah. Two men in the U.S. have been charged with hacking into Ring home security cameras of a dozen random people and then swatting them. And basically falsely reporting a violent incident at the target's address to trick local police into responding with force. So the SWAT team shows up. Prosecutors say the duo used compromised Ring devices to stream live video footage from on social media of police raiding their targets' homes and taunt authorities when they arrived. Prosecutors in Los Angeles allege 20-year-old James Thomas Andrew McCarty of Charlotte, North Carolina, and Kai Christian Nielsen, 22 of Racine, Wisconsin, conspired to hack into Yahoo email accounts belonging to the victims around the United States. From there, they would check on how many of those Yahoo accounts had associated Ring accounts and then targeted the people that way using the password. Happened to the two swatted at least a dozen different victims across the country here in the U.S. and good riddance to them. I hope they rot in prison for that. Also, if you're using Yahoo,
stop it.
Just stop. Yeah. Your password's probably bad, and Yahoo's been hacked at a million different ways. Get off Yahoo email.
You don't deserve to get swatted, but you need to get a new email.
Yeah, exactly.
No, definitely these people should be in prison like forever. I mean, I don't want people to go to prison. Like it's never a thing that you want to send people to prison and stuff, but people doing this kind of stuff is really awful, and it can escalate super quickly, and there's no turning back. So I don't think this is what Amazon was envisioning with their Ring Nation TV series, though. So probably not a good start to that whole thing.
I was going to say, this is probably the only time Ring camera footage has actually been used to catch a bad guy.
That was low.
Shots fired.
I mean, what? Anyway. Speaking of cameras, you now have 3 months to replace your old Arlo cameras. I guess Arlo has a
short notice.
A short notice on your cameras that are a few years old now. Arlo Gen 3 VMC 3030 and the first gen Arlo Pro VMC 4030. If you got two of those, the company has told its company that those two cameras will hit the end of their service lives within a couple of months. And these cameras, I guess, aren't even that old. It doesn't really say here in the article. Oh, 8 and 6 years old.
6 to 8 years old.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's pretty old for like a cloud connected camera, but they really didn't give you much notice. I mean, January 1st notification for end of life in 4 months. That's not that much time.
I'm trying to see. They actually have Arlo actually has an end of life policy. So they endeavor to provide at least 90 days of advance prior notice to implementing an EOL effective date. And After that, they will get no support, no firmware upgrades, no security updates, no bug fixes. I guess it'll still work, but
I was gonna say it looks like it'll still work.
But it's probably time. We were kind of talking about this in the hub a little bit before all this happened, or while all this was happening. Like these are older cameras, and I think TJ, you mentioned that if it was a professional camera, you'd probably be looking for upgrades anyway after a few years, or they'd probably be broken.
I would think almost any camera though, right? Like you can obviously, like a professional camera you could usually use for like, I don't know, like 20 years or something. You can get some obnoxious amount of time out of them, it seems like, but they usually are such bad quality that you want to upgrade them after like 5 or 10 years anyway. So like, I couldn't imagine how awful these cameras are anyway, being 8 years old and probably the first cameras that they made.
It looks like they last manufactured some of these. Like the VMC 4030 last manufacture date was December 2018. And I think, was it the 3040 was the other one?
4030.
The 4030?
Yeah, the Pro 4030.
Oh, okay. Well, that was 2018. So, I mean, that's only like 4 years ago. And it could have been sitting on a shelf or something. Who knows?
I wonder if they were, if customers were sent notifications though, or if this was literally the first notification. Because that's always my thing, right? Is like, obviously software has to end at some point, but you should give plenty of notice. And I don't think 4 months is plenty of notice myself.
Yep. So everyone will know, I guess, it's deprecation notice this month, and again, April 1st, I guess they kind of go out of service, but they kind of work after that, but kind of is what it is. I don't know. I don't know how to feel. I know Arlo's is a little more expensive camera too. And they've been really, I see these Arlo's I see more often than like even Wise camera. Like Wise cameras I'll see people have popped up in like businesses. But I don't know. I see these Arlo cameras everywhere. They're just such a recognizable brand, I guess. I don't know. The shape of them, I guess, is recognizable. So I see them popped up all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Well, Wise didn't really come out with an outdoor camera, I think, until like a year or two ago. So makes sense.
Well, I'm sure we'll revisit these stories for Wise in a couple 4 more years now. So it's a couple more years. Wise will be discontinuing them, and we'll talk about them again.
A couple more months.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of defunct technology,
yeah. So all right. So cue the sad horn. Taps or whatever. I have that. I can put that in. It's curtains for 3G. One of the key wireless technologies that helped usher in the age of the smartphone. Throughout December, Verizon has been disconnecting its customers who are still using the old tech, cutting off their phones, ability to use data, make calls, send texts. Pretty much the last U.S. carrier to do so. AT&T turned these off in February, and T-Mobile started winding down the old networks there in March of 2022. Verizon customers with 3G devices had plenty of warning, unlike Arlo customers. They were told in 2019 to hurry up and get off this stuff.
I feel like we've been talking about this forever now.
Yeah. In fact, you could still buy the Arlo camera in 2019, right? And it's still, yeah. So I feel like being in the security industry, we've been talking about this for the past. I feel like I've been talking about this 3G sunset thing for, I don't know, 10 years now. Like, it seems like we've known this was going to come. And now that it's here, like, I guess in February, at the end of February, no, the first day before their February billing cycle, it'll be kaputs for that stuff. So good night, sweet little child, 3G. It's been nice knowing you. Of course, it's just here in the US. There's plenty of 3G networks all over the world. And if you travel overseas, you will occasionally grab a hold of a 3G network and use them there. But yeah, just here in the US, finally ending the 3G service. So goodbye.
There was people in the Verizon subreddit posting videos of them checking for 3G service, and they were noting when their tower shut off and everything.
With their flip phones.
I think it was mainly like old iPhones, but pretty much.
Gavin, do you have 3G service up there in Canada?
Yeah, I usually fall back on it when I don't get a good signal, you know. It's always my backup signal.
I want to say when I landed in Toronto, like it went over to 3G, and then things were just really slow until it like kicked in with the 5G signal. Like it was just like 3G's here, and then it took a while, but it got on the 5G. So
yeah, you don't realize how slow 3G is until you're on it. And you're like, holy cow, we use this? But it doesn't help that they kind of refarmed a lot of the spectrum, so it got robbed of most of its utility a while ago.
Yep. Well, farewell 3G. It's been nice knowing you.
We'll talk about this in a couple more months.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll delay the February date again. So it'll probably be like, oh no, for real this time. Next year we'll be talking about it again.
Get out of here, guys. Stop using this.
It's like one of those things that, like, if it still works, why are we throwing it away? So
there are people that just make calls and send text messages. That's all they do, and 3G is good enough for that for them.
That's
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's probably just, I don't know. It seems like it's not even an age of equipment thing, because if you're overseas, you could still, I mean, clearly those manufacturers still make the equipment, right? Like, it's not going anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere, but for Verizon customers, at least, it was the last holdout here in the States, and now it's gone. So goodbye, 3G. We'll see you later. See you
America.
All right. Moving on here, we've got our CES coverage, and we're not gonna go over this whole thing like in fine tooth detail.
I mean, some of this stuff's like worth talking about, but it's not worth going into like depth about. Yeah. So there'll be some links. Check it out if you want.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that just basically caught our eye leading up to CES. I'm sure there's going to be more fun stuff that comes out and it hits the press. We'll be able to talk about next week. So
next week, it's just going to be all Matter. There's not going to be anything else. It's just Matter devices, Matter hubs.
This is just the pregame. Yeah, we're just going to talk about stuff that won't matter next week, because matter matters. Matter matters. Yeah. All right, cool. Oddly enough, a lot of Matter stories tonight to talk about, but we're going to breeze through those as well. So first up, LG released a couple of their new TVs, the G3, C3, and OLED TVs for 2023. I just pulled a couple of bullet points out of some of the stuff I was reading. They're doing AI deep learning. So they've got the deep state built in, Gavin, right into the TV.
Yep.
Yep. To help ensure outstanding picture quality and sound. So that's good, I guess. They've got a brightness booster max technology, which is able to increase brightness by up to 70%, according to LG. That's kind of neat, I guess. You need a brighter TV. New refined version of WebOS. So they've done some like interface changes to WebOS on the newer TVs here. The G3 will introduce an ultra seamless one wall design. And what they're calling there is a claim. They're claiming that the design results in, quote, no visible gap when mounted to a wall. TJ and I had a good laugh about that. Yeah.
Like in the TV mount will probably be in 5 different pieces that you have to mount in separate areas.
Yeah.
Like the Samsung frame TV. That sucks.
Or the custom integrator would just use their own mount and it'll be 1.5 inches off the wall anyway. So
somebody will want an articulating mount, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. They're catering to gamers, I guess, with more low latency, talking about 0.1 millisecond latency time. So I guess that's a thing. I really haven't figured out if it's like placebo or just like, I mean, gamers like those stats, right? They like to have the numbers things. Like my video card is the 3060 and I got the 4080 or whatever. And like they want the bigger numbers and they want the lower latency and they think that's going to help improve their game. Which, more power to them. I suck at video games. And then they've got, and this one's fun. They're the first displays to be certified with this HDMI quick media syncing VRR, which, this is the acronym for is QMS-VRR.
Yes.
Okay, good job. So here's what this is. You hear Gavin saying yes, but he's runs into this. But this technology is claimed to be able to eliminate those black screens that kind of plop up and say, when you're switching from HDMI to HDMI 2, and it takes a while for that to sync, and it drops a few frames. Basically, on HDMI 2.1a compliant ports, you're supposed to be able to just like switch to HDMI 2 and boom, you got the picture up.
This drives me nuts. When I got my new TV, this was one of the most annoying things. So basically, when you're watching different content, they all come with different refresh rates. And when you watch, if the refresh rate of the TV doesn't match the content, you get jitter, you get, tearing, screen tearing, stuff like that. And it's annoying. So you have to turn on this feature that tells the TV to change your refresh rate to match the content that I'm watching. But when it does that, you get this blank screen, like a half a second blank screen while it switches over. And it's very annoying, like it drives me nuts, but there's no way around it. And if I don't do this, then you could be watching live sports. It will just be jittery and it drives me nuts. So you have to put up with this. Now that they've introduced this and they'll be actually putting it into the TVs, I'm not going to buy a new TV just for this, but I'm happy that they're going to be addressing this.
Just think about how this AI and deep learning and deep state is going to improve your pop-up ads on your LG TV.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh,
smoother ads.
These TVs are going to track what you watch even more, and they don't want to know what I'm watching up here in Toronto.
Another thing that was pretty cool that we have a story kind of pulled out for it. They kind of fixed some of these picture mode things, and instead of, and this isn't a bad idea, because I typically switch mine over to the movie cinema mode and kind of adjust from there. And there's a couple of there's that really old THX app that you can use to adjust the picture on your TV. And I think even on the Apple TV now, you can actually use your phone and kind of calibrate the screen using the iPhone camera. But LG is doing this a different way. They present a couple pictures on the screen and you can pick which one that you like better. And then after a couple of those, settings get recorded, it can figure out kind of what you think your TV should look like, and it'll give you that picture mode. So I actually think this is it's called Personalized Picture Wizard, and I think this is a great feature. And one I think TV manufacturers should have thought of a long time ago, because at the end of the day, it doesn't care if you like yours on the eye bleeding vivid or like the smooth cinema one. Like, it's your TV. It should look how you want it to look. And, I have my preferences, and I'm sure all the video geeks out there have theirs. But if you like how the Vivid looks, go for it. It's yours. It's your TV. You paid money for it.
People might actually change their picture settings with this.
Yeah.
Because nobody ever knows you can change that. So
especially, it sounds like a little wizard that it walks you through on setup. And even when you're doing like the calibration stuff, the light in the room or like what you have as a backdrop can change the picture. So, this is a good thing, I think, for people to kind of, pick up and use. I hope other manufacturers follow suit, because it seems like it's a pretty easy, straightforward thing to do. Like, let people pick what they like best. And then the biggest thing that LG talked about, they've done it. They've made the wireless TV. So they announced this 97-inch wireless TV. And it's got basically got a transmitter box. It's got a couple of HDMI cables and, audio cable things, outputs on it. This box can shoot the HDMI signal wirelessly over from the box to the TV, positioned about up to 30 feet away. And supposedly you can get 4K 120 off of it, along with USB and antenna inputs. So plug in your 4K Blu-ray player and it could be across the room. And supposedly you'll get a nice, clean 4K picture. See, DJ's like, this is like literally what everybody has. Like, why do I need wires?
This is a nightmare. I don't know why you would want this. Could you imagine like a service call to, like, let's say you install one of these and then it works fine for like 6 months and somebody calls you out because it doesn't work anymore. And you get out there and they install like a metal coffee table and it's just like blocking the signal somehow.
New microwave.
Yeah. Like just something, I don't know. I don't get it. Yeah, I'm all about making stuff wireless, but this seems like a terrible thing to make wireless.
Or the new unified routers interfering with the signal or something like that. They installed a new Sonos speaker and the Sonos net's messing with it. Like, there's so many things. I don't know.
Who is asking for these TVs to be so thin, right? Like, they could have easily just stuffed this into the TV and made it like a millimeter thicker or something. Like, not even, I don't know.
Oh yeah. They want you to have the thinnest of thin TVs, but it's wireless now. So you don't need any wires except for the power cable. You gotta have that.
And you know that this TV is not going to have any actual inputs on there. So when eventually this box craps out, you're not going to be able to buy a new one. And your super expensive 97-inch TV is going to be absolutely useless. Because that's what happened with the old Pioneer Elite plasma TVs. That little brain box died. You were done for. You couldn't use your TV at all.
Nope. And it guarantee you, you're saying there's no ports. Yeah. One of the pictures, they took a picture of the back of the TV, no ports. So it's just a power cable. Yeah. I would not say go out and get this 97-inch TV. Who knows how much this thing is going to cost? It does look nice in the pictures, but, and could solve problems, but man,
what problem are you solving?
It won't be a long-lived solution. Yeah. One zap on either side and you're done. It's crazy.
I don't even know what problem you're solving with this, but
it would look great above the fireplace though.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, if you've only got power above the fireplace,
all 97 inches above the fireplace.
Yeah, but everybody streams everything anyway, so
that's true. Well, not 4K. Well, I guess you are streaming 4K, but not 4K 120
yet.
you put in the new Unify router to stream the 4K 120. And it takes out your wireless TV.
And your printer.
All right. Well, we got one, looks like one little security. It's the year of the lock thing. And we had the special door that we talked about last year that TJ was talking about come through. But Lockly has released this new smart lock that kind of installs and retrofits over your existing lock in a way, I guess, and literally over or under in another way.
Under.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's hard to describe this. Like you have your deadbolt on the outside, right? Take that out and you put this little like shim thing with a fingerprint thing underneath it, and then put the deadbolt back with the big motorized battery box on the back of the other side of the door, like you see on all the other smart locks. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. Like you keep your door aesthetic, but it's got this weird hang down thing. They should call it the Lockly hang down. That's probably not. That's probably
that's
not
what they want.
That's probably not the idea that they're going for in this. I don't know. It stores 99 fingerprints. It's got Google Home, Amazon Alexa, all the good stuff in there. It I guess it could solve a problem. I don't know. If you scroll down, there's one that's kind of like built in a little bit better, the Access Touch Pro. I think that one looks okay. Anyway, available for $249 for the Access Touch Pro, and the other one's $229 for the Flex Touch. Shipping sometime in the spring of 2023. So, an actual product from CES. Yay!
Not Matter compatible though. Sorry.
Oh, that's a deal breaker right there.
No Matter.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Guess it's gonna matter. All right. So I think the biggest story
definitely the next one.
That we saw.
Oh yeah, brown switches now.
Brown switches, yeah. I guess the biggest story we saw this year, we've seen so far, is this like lighting thing. It's kind of gone crazy. So, so there's a couple of cool things, and then there's this one. I guess if this gets you excited, you can get excited. Lutron, Diva, and Claro HomeKit dimmer switch. They're launching in 6 colors now. So before you could get Lutron, Diva, and Claro, I guess, in any color you wanted as long as it was white. Now you can pick and choose from these 6 other colors: black, brown, gray, light almond, ivory, and of course white, the traditional white there one. Okay, this is great. I'm glad that Caseta is getting additional colors. I'm sure this has been needed for a long time. I just don't know why. I don't know why this is like huge news. Like Lutron has had finishes forever, and I don't know. TJ, you seem to find this just as funny as I do. That this is it. This is what they're coming up. This is what they brought to the table. Colors.
Kind of disappointed this made it into the news segment for us to talk about, but
I thought I deleted it, but here it is.
We were making fun of it so much before the show. Like, I can't believe they released an article about this, and here we are talking about it.
And they made me sign a embargo on this, and I couldn't talk about it
for color switches.
Yeah, color switches. I'm like, all right.
I don't even understand why it's an announcement. Like, just release it. You should have just released it when it came out.
It would have made more headlines. Well, whatever.
Yeah,
I guess
we got new switches with new colors.
You know, all these years I've been spray painting my switches. This, makes it easier for me.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I had more colors.
Yeah, just all the colors under the Krylon rainbow, and then I've got 5 or 6 from Lutron. So okay, good for Lutron, and good for the Caseta stuff. I mean, it is nice to have those options. and these actually look like switches and not like the, what are they called? The stupid little remote control things they have
Picos.
with the 5 buttons. Picos, yes. Those are nice and handy, but they shouldn't be the on-wall control thing. But these look good, so yay. You did it. You solved lighting. Well, I guess the biggest story I saw, like everywhere, all at once, everything everywhere all at once. Is that how you say it? Yeah. Was this Nano Leafs like ceiling light thing that they came out with? They're calling the Skylight. It is basically a tile that you mount on your ceiling, and you can like gang them together, so they make one long continuous tile thing that looks like a fluorescent light, but you can tune them to different colors, of course, and have fun colors come out of them. I don't know. Looks really different and not a bad idea. I think TJ, you had some thoughts on this in the hub, so I'll let you take it away here.
Yeah, honestly, I think they're pretty cool looking. You can replace just a regular light fixture on your ceiling with it. You can pair up. I don't even see a limit on there. I'm assuming there's some kind of soft or hard limit on there. But I think they look pretty nice. The only thing is, I wish the transition, they have a picture here where the tiles are different colors and you can clearly tell like the visible line between them. I wish that was kind of a little smoother, but I'm not even sure how you would do that because they're physically different pieces. But this is something like, usually when I see these like LED lights like this, I can never envision them in somebody's house because I'm just not an LED light person. Like I don't want blue all over my wall or whatever. But this is some product I can actually see installed in somebody's house, and I could even see this installed in like somebody's high-end house. Even if they had like a man cave or like an office space or something, this would be an easy addition to that.
Yeah, it looks like the photo they have reminds me of like a high-end condo. Mm-hmm. Well, it has to be because you see those giant cylinder beam things there that hold up the ceilings and building. But yeah, this is it could easily be installed as a high-end fixture over a dining table as they have here. They have another picture of it installed in the hallway, kind of like running down the entire hallway. I don't know. Seems like a decent idea. This one's not, I think they said coming out until Q3 sometime. Yeah. Sometime in Q3. I don't see any pricing on here either.
Nah, no pricing. They did this with their other products as well. So we usually don't get pricing until right before they release.
If you have to ask about price, then you can't afford it.
That's true.
Yeah. Nanoleaf is not on the cheap side of things either. So,
and even this like 4D, I think they're calling it a 4D thing. They've got a nice picture of some of these light fixtures behind a TV for this other product they announced. And even that looks pretty decent to me. I kind of like how it's kind of like artsy in a way. A lot of times when I see LED lighting in people's houses, that's literally just like hidden in a corner somewhere, or it's a very boring, like, just an LED strip. But they've kind of started turning these into like artwork. So it kind of blends in with the house and it looks like it's supposed to be there instead of just something you've cobbled together.
Yeah. Well, this is the bias lighting thing, but it uses kind of the same thing so Philips Hue used a like an HDMI input and output device, little hardware device. So you went in with your source out to the TV and it would read the pixels on there, whatever the colors were around the edges, and reproduce those roughly on a pixel strip around the back side of the TV and give you that bias lighting. Looks like they're using, I've seen other companies use cameras. Looks like they're using cameras for that. So the cameras focus in and watch the TV screen and pick the colors that are coming off of it in general. And they use this 5 meter pixel strip to do kind of the same thing. So it looks like they have 2 kits available, one for a 55 to 65 inch TV and a 70 to 80 inch panel. Get no pricing on that one, but like Gavin said, you have to ask. You're going to find out. They also had a couple of other interesting products, including this. Gavin, you described this as a mouse wheel light switch.
Can't unsee.
Yeah, it's a smart light switch, I guess. Sense Plus smart light switch. It's a matter switch. It's got a bunch of buttons and a scroll wheel for a mouse on it. I don't get this.
I get the scroll wheel, but it's just not attractive. so you can quickly dim things, but
they're not attractive at all. But they got some smarts in it to know when to turn on and off lights and stuff like that. Like it's more than just a switch, but I think they could have done a much better job at the looks, the aesthetics.
If you are listening to the podcast, you should let us know if you think the Lutron Pico remote is uglier or if this is uglier.
It's a contest.
This is a good Mastodon vote going on right here.
Yeah, it is. Can we do polls on Mastodon?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Go for it, TJ.
TJ's learning all sorts of stuff tonight. You can edit posts. You can. All right. I don't know. It looks like there's also a little wireless one that is kind of like the Pico that slaps into the back with a magnet or whatever. I don't know. It looks a little bit better. It's just instead of the scroll wheel in the middle, it's got an up down, but it doesn't have all the other lights and things on it from what I can tell. So, and then I guess there's this little matter bridge thing that is a nightlight. Did you guys take a look at this as well?
Honestly, that's, I think, one of the cooler things. I think the ceiling thing is the coolest one. But this little nightlight bridge border router thing, I think is a good idea. A lot of times these devices are kind of like hidden in closets or cabinets somewhere, and they're not very useful. I kind of like that this one is actually useful, and it's supposed to be out in the open. It's supposed to repeat the signals and everything. So I think it's a good idea to turn something that's a utility device into something that's actually, attractive or useful as well.
Yep. Gavin, what do you think?
No, I totally agree. You summed it up right there. Like sometimes, we have devices out there that are just doing one thing, but they're not useful and they're an eyesore. This kind of eliminates all that too, right? And I like that when you have that type of thing. The only thing I don't like about when you merge multiple devices in one is when you want to replace one piece of it, you got to replace the whole thing. But
in this case, you're losing a nightlight.
Yeah, so, in this case, I'm fine. It's not like I'm taking out a Wi-Fi router and something else, like this. In this case, I'm fine, and it's good.
Yeah, kind of jump ahead a little bit here, but Samsung Smart Things put an entire Matter controller inside of a wireless charger for your phone. So don't forget that's what that is.
Yes.
And when you unplug it and move it across the house, and your lights don't work.
Oh, I spilled water on my hub.
It's kind of an odd decision, but
my hub is not a coaster.
Yeah. I don't know. Interesting that it's there. It supports Matter and Thread devices.
Isn't it also a switch too? There's a button on the top of it or something like that.
Does it have a button? I don't see that.
I think there was a smart button.
I see a button, but I thought it was just to connect something. Oh, it's a find device thing, I think.
Yeah. There were so many things in this one little Samsung Smart Things device.
Oh no, yeah, it is a controlling button for scenes and stuff like that.
Yeah, don't make it an important scene because you don't want to rest down your phone and then accidentally trip that button and it locks down the house or something like that, right?
This seems like more of a proof of concept thing, right? Like, hey, look at what you can do with smart home stuff. You can put it into whatever you want. Doesn't seem like one of those devices that people should buy.
It also is CES, so not everything gets released.
I mean, I'm still waiting for the Galaxy Home little speaker thing to come out. When's that coming out, guys?
Mm-hmm. I think you'll be waiting a while.
Yeah.
Man, they had them. They had 30 of them on stage or 100 of them on stage, and they were all there. Somebody has those locked away somewhere, and they're going to come out on eBay one day. I'm gonna have to get one. Those are so cute.
I'll keep an eye out for you. It'll be a government auction. I'm
probably.
Sure.
We're with the Twitter chairs and stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, that was an interesting little device, but kind of going back to the lighting stuff. We talked a little bit about the Philips Hue device. I guess they call it the sync device. That's a hardware device. It goes HDMI in, HDMI out to the TV. Well, a lot of people looked at it and said, well, why do I need this? Just put it in the TV. And Samsung said, that's a great idea. Let's put it in the TV.
Genius.
And we'll make an app out of it, and we'll just send those pixel colors over to whatever devices. This actually works really well over to the Hue products that use all this. And it actually does work really well. I know people who like using this. It's very expensive to do, and this isn't going to be any cheaper. It's just not. Because for the app, they've decided instead of charging you $249 for the app, or for the device, the app is going to be what, $149, right?
$129.
So $129. All right, so it's like $130 for this. Man, I don't know. Like, that's an expensive app. Maybe if it was under 100, maybe it's under 75, I could think.
Yeah, and my thing too is that they're going to stop supporting this in like 3 years. You're going to be like, oh, well, sorry, actually, we're not using Tizen OS for our TVs anymore, so you just lost that capability. Like, I know people don't want more hardware, but I would just buy the hardware and just be done with it.
I'm half on that.
If it was built into the TV from the factory, that's a different story. But if I have to pay more than $100 for an app that probably is not going to be supported long term, I'm not going to do that.
I'm kind of half on that because so if you have that external box, it means you have to have external players, right? And so if you're using the internal apps, that's not going to work. It will work with this. And then like if you have a signal chain that the old or the Philips Hue Sync didn't work with. So like say they come out with a new HDMI signal chain that requires you have a new Philips Hue Sync. You've paid what, $250 for this box that is out of spec now. Like it doesn't have the right ports on it. So you're not going to get that full 8K HDR signal to your TV or whatever you want. So maybe that's a little ways out or whatever. I don't know. Like, I think if it just depends on your situation, which one's best. If you've got a bunch of external gear, you're using an Apple TV or Roku HD, like the box is probably better, like you're saying. If you're just watching streaming and you just want to hook it up, like $130 is steep, but so is everything Philips Hue, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. It is a luxury lighting item.
Gavin, are you going to do this on your LGs if they come out with a $130 LG app?
Probably not. The TV seems to struggle just running the WebOS sometimes. I don't want to add more to it. Like that I've been bit by TVs and their OSs before. Like after a few years, the Netflix app just struggles to show any content, And I'm not talking like 10 years. I'm talking like 4 years, 5 years maybe. I don't want to be replacing a TV every 5 years.
Heck no.
It's another good point. Another good point is that things will slow down and your lights may get a little janky when they're trying to watch some nice 4K Netflix content. And yeah, not a bad point. Not a bad point. Well, we'll have to see how it works for people. 129. Somebody will go out and spin it and let us know.
Yeah.
All right, moving on here. SwitchBot is getting madder. I know that's going to be huge for all our SwitchBot fans out there, but
I need to upgrade my hub.
They've got a Hub 2 bridge for SwitchBot Bluetooth devices to work on the ecosystem with Matter. So they're on the Matter bandwagon now.
So they're just going to be giving you a new hub that you have to buy that's now going to connect all the SwitchBot stuff into the Matter ecosystem. But that hub is probably still going to be cloud connected at some point, I'm guessing.
100%. I mean, the current one is, so this one's definitely going to be.
So that's how they're working around all that.
Because the reason you buy the hub is to use it with the internet. I think all the SwitchBot devices are Bluetooth. So if you just wanted to use it Bluetooth, you don't need anything. But so this is wrong on that as well.
It's like a little bridge that brings everything over to Matter.
Yeah,
that'll work.
So like I have my SwitchBot lock, and it'll work with the app without any issues. But if I want the internet functionality, that's where the hub comes into it.
Hub 2 available later this year. I don't see any pricing on this, but it'll probably be
$20 or something.
$20. Yeah,
SwitchBot stuff is so cheap.
Ridiculous. Yeah, it's basically the opposite of Philips Hue. So yeah, we should see that come out later this year. Be interesting to see what happens there. And then Samsung has a bunch of new TVs that have come out with that fancy Zigbee thread Matter / whatever Ethernet chip all kind of built into it. So the Neo QLED micro LED and Samsung OLED TVs will have this new enhanced connectivity thing inside of it. So everything's coming together, guys. It's going to matter. It's all going to matter. It's all going to be all this magic stuff all in one chip. I think this is the one chip thing that TJ, you were talking about. I think it came out like at the beginning. This feels like it was one of those 1-year-old stories too. Like we talked about this.
Yeah, we definitely talked about it last year, but
well, cool stuff. We'll have to revisit maybe if Samsung came out with any cool TV things besides this and the Philips Hue $130 app. Well, we'll talk about it next week. Let's move on here. We'll skip the CE Pro scented theater thing, which was the strangest. We'll put a link to it in the show notes. And if you want to go learn about how smell-o-vision may work, head on over to CE Pro because they're on top of it. And then this is the most interesting story I think that has come up this week so far out of CES. And usually you're getting pissed off at your technology, but I think this gives you an opportunity to get pissed on. Withings has announced.
Go, Seth. I have to give you props for that one.
Man.
I thought about that all weekend, honestly. So.
You saved that one just for the show.
I did. I saved that one.
I'm going to sign out now. Thank you.
And we're wrapping it up.
Yeah, we're done now.
So Withings announced a breakthrough urine lab that lives in your toilet. It's kind of like a smart, what do they call it? Urinal cake that kind of lives in your toilet. And it has an in-home biomaker analysis platform. It's named UScan, and it will basically test for your health, your it's like nutrition and cycle tracking as well. So kind of a cool product, but also kind of a weird product. I'm not sure what to think about this. There's a lot of urine talk in this press release, and I don't know if we want to have urine talk on the show here, but you go to the bathroom, you expel this stuff, and this little device has sensors in it, and it can read it and tell you if you're eating right, and then maybe we can use it to turn a light like green or red or
Ooh, that's a good idea.
So, is there a home assistant integration?
There will be.
Oh, there we go.
They'll make it happen.
You had too much salt. You had too much salt in your urine, so your sink just pours you a glass of water.
Reading this article, the examples they give, I wasn't too excited about that. Cycle tracking, I already can tell you that. I know when that's happening. But it's one of the ideas I thought is if they could use this to detect COVID, for example, that would be really cool. I think, like you just an easier way to test for that every morning. That would be cool. If an employer puts this in their bathrooms, I'm not going into the office again. Nope, because they may find out some stuff. There's a lot of use cases I could see with this that are great. The examples I gave weren't exciting though.
Yeah, so analysis of specific gravity, pH, vitamin C, and ketone levels helps people monitor their metabolic intake to optimize their daily hydration and nutrients. So, yeah, I guess if you're like, it's one of those, I guess it's going to be available in the UK first. It's got to pass FDA clearance here in the US. So there'll be a longer date on that, but they're saying Q2 2023 with a starter kit. What?
So do you have to swap out stuff? I don't want to have to do that job.
That's what I'm like. There's a starter kit. Wait a minute now. Like, are there sensor? Like, there's little tabs. Like every week, I'm gonna have to go in there and pop the top on this thing. And like,
I don't want that job.
I wonder how hard it is to clean if like somebody accidentally poops on it.
Well, that's probably what the other part. Like, there's a kit though. Like maybe there's a cleaning.
You gotta replace the outer shell.
Cleaning kit or something. I don't know.
Something for your kids to do.
Oh, here it is. One cartridge that lasts 3 months. The starter kit is 500 euros. So that's going to be a little expensive.
Ooh, yeah. That gets expensive.
I mean, that's not bad for like a all-in-one like health thing though.
Doesn't your Apple Watch do cycle tracking, or Apple has an app?
That's what I need to pee on my Apple Watch and see what happens.
I don't think you're going to
No, but I mean, it does this. I don't know what people are into.
I guess you could. I mean, I think it's IP rated.
IP.
Maybe not direct contact.
It does keep up with it. But I think it's more manual than this, and I think they use like a temperature thing for like the other part. So, and it's not even the best temperature tracking thing like you could do, but they tried, so that's good.
Built-in pregnancy test would be cool.
Yeah, it's like depending on what type of alarm you want to issue.
Yeah, it starts playing music and the lights.
It's like either you're happy or you're wrong. So
you get a call because it texted your
yeah. It's like, do not.
I got a text from your toilet saying you're pregnant.
Oh man. Well, there's always interesting products that show up at CES. This one looks very well developed. I will give them that. Like, the app here looks interesting. if you're into this kind of statistics of your waste, it's there right on your phone.
Like I said, I'd like to see where they go with this, because there's a lot of other use cases I could see them doing other than just this.
It's interesting. So it's probably, like you're saying, there's probably more that they can get off of this than they are starting with, and maybe they'll add some more stuff in the future. Ty is saying, go look up 2050. It was a Discovery miniseries that talked about toilets that do all this, but it was more for health. Oh man.
Well, that makes sense to me. Like, this makes sense as like a company investment. Like, we'll judge your health insurance coverage by what you excrete.
Can you imagine Blue Cross getting a hold of this data? It's like,
because they're doing that with car insurance now, where they shove a little device in your car, or they use your phone and they determine it.
Well, even for health insurance, they make you go through like a physical and stuff like that ahead of time, and you have to. They monitor that over time, and some companies do too. So, yeah,
not here in the States. We don't have really health insurance, so like accident insurance. Well, it's interesting. It's interesting to see. We've known about these sensors for a long time, and them getting smaller and smaller. And here it is. They've got a smart urinal cake here that can live in your toilet.
There you go. A urinal cake. That's 2 devices in one. It can keep your toilet clean, smells good, and monitors everything like that.
Ooh, we combine this with the aroma player.
There you go.
This sounds like a genius idea.
Yeah, you can pick your aroma that you want the urinal cake to smell like.
It could be a Bluetooth speaker.
Oh, my scent pod's broken. It smells like asparagus.
That's what you picked. I don't know why.
Oh.
Oh man, awkward. Too good. Well, that's what we have for this ES talk this week. I'm sure we'll have more. I'm sure we'll have more wacky products. And if anything is beyond this Withings breakthrough smart urine and lab in the toilet thing, we'll talk about it next week. But all the links and topics we talked about tonight can be found over our show notes at HomeTech.fm/418. All right, we don't have anything in the mailbag this week, but we do have a pick of the week. And I think, TJ, you had picked this, and I didn't move it over. But which one is it? Where did it go?
I don't even think it's in there.
You didn't put it in. That's why I don't know what it is.
I got to find it.
Give me a link. I'm just going to pick another one.
Oh, my gosh. No. Oh, here it is. It's a YouTube video. So it's about this guy. I don't even know where he's at. He's in some foreign country that's not America. Built a trash can train for his trash cans. So this guy puts a metal track through his yard, and at the push of a button, he can bring all of his trash cans to the front of his house so they can be taken out. And I just think this is a good idea. I don't think this is going to catch on. I don't think people are going to be doing this to their houses anytime soon. But if I had the extra space and the extra time, I think this would be a worthwhile investment.
It's the trash train. Yeah, not a bad idea, I guess. It wouldn't last the way he did it wouldn't last very long here in Florida, but it's a novel idea. I like it. I think my trash, the guys who pick up my trash would also not treat it fairly.
Oh no, and they definitely would not put it back on.
Oh, they throw it next to it.
They would intentionally do. Yeah, they would hate me. I don't know. Like the guy who does the recycles now, all he does, he doesn't, like, they used to have a recycle truck, right? And there were 2 guys that came around. One was driving just like a traditional trash truck. They pick up the recycles, they toss them in. Now it's like you get the blue bin, and they have a robot that will pick it up. And that guy has gotten so lazy now. Like, he'll aim for your recycle bin, but if he knocks it over, he knocked it over. And he just keeps driving.
That's a
like,
you problem.
Just trash all. Yeah, it's not a me problem anymore. Yeah, I knocked it over. But
you should have put it in that awful position.
Yeah. He's not a good sport anymore. So used to, there were 2 of them, and you could, if you had a lot of extra cardboard, you have to like slip them a 20, and they let you help you put it on the truck or whatever. But now, like, I just gave up. I had a bunch of extra recycles. I just put it out by the trash. I don't know who picked it up. I have no idea. I know it wasn't him because he didn't get out of his truck with his robot arm. So,
Florida man.
Yeah. Trash train. We'll add that to the show notes here. And go check it out. It's actually a pretty cool idea. I think we're on the same YouTube algorithm because I saw that one as well. I think we all saw it independently.
I think that's true.
There's a lot of steel. Like he did a lot of steel work in this, and I'm like, that's going to rain on once in Florida, and it's going to be locked up. Like over the week, it'll just be a locked up heap of iron that you get out there and have to spray down with WD-40 every week. Oily mess out there.
And then your robot lawnmower child won't be able to mow the lawn.
Yeah. Oh, Clippy. Clippy has finally been released to the front yard. I got the Christmas blow up things taken down, so he's now allowed to venture into the front yard, go up there and take care of business.
I hope he doesn't run away.
I caught him down by the street trying to get away the other day.
Help! He's abusing me. Help!
I mean,
you won't give me a house. Help!
It's raining on me. I'm so sad. Yeah. Clippy was trying to. He got. I think it was my fault because I was taking out all this extra Christmas trash that we had, like all the wrappings, and I had this big like contractor. What are these? Husky cleanup bags, like the massive bag. Yep. And I set it down and it fell over into his little path. And I think he was trying to get back home. And what he does when he tries to go back home, he just follows that wire around until he finds the thing and he just hops on board. And he starts doing this about 25%, something like that. He'll start heading back home. And he must have kept coming up to that trash bag and getting stuck and having to turn back the other way. So I found him up by the front yard, kind of like just kind of giving up on life and out of battery.
I feel so sad hearing this story. Like, this story brought some emotion to me right now. Poor Clippy.
I'm going to put some more cameras up to help identify. And we need to talk about this later on in the project updates, because there's a lot I've been thinking about with Clippy. So if you have any feedback, comments, questions, picks of the week, or great ideas for the show, give us a shout. Email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or you can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form there. All right, moving on to project updates. We've got here a note about the state of Gavin's home, and then also the Home Assistant 2023.1 release, Year of the Voice. And I think you posted earlier about the party they had, right? They had a little video party every month.
Oh yeah, every month they have a release party, and this month, actually, it was today, they had their 2023.1 release. Nothing really exciting. You can go read the release notes if you want. Nothing really exciting. I update right away. I can't resist that little update button. I just noticed it broke my one of my tiles, one of my cards on my dashboard, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'll fix it later. But in terms of the state of my home, it's actually boring. Ever since I set up Home Assistant and everything's settled down now, it's all just working. And it's amazing how fast things are. Like as soon as I open my door, that sensor trips, the lights turn on. Like it's amazing how well this is working. I've added today. I added a TVOC air quality monitor, for example. Just want to see what I get out of that. I'm gonna see what all that hype's about. I got a smart water heater. I added monitoring of my my water meter itself. I was able to integrate it into Home Assistant, so now I can see the water usage. So now I can do things like monitor it, and if it's excess usage, for example, send a notification. Something's up. There's a leak going on. Who knows? That I actually found cool. And when I added that, it was an antenna that picks up their signal. I also realized I get the water sensors of all 7 of my neighbors as well. So I know how much water they're using, or when they're in the shower or something like that. So
creepy.
I was messing with my other neighbor saying, hey, you're taking too long in that shower.
I'm watching you.
He was kind of shocked. But yeah, no, right now, I don't even know what more to do. It's all working. It's working well. And, I'm just waiting for it to break now with this latest release, so I have something to fix.
Just goat mouthing it, Gavin. Just saying too many positive things.
I'm loving it. It's working really well. Not much I can say.
I have my Home Assistant review.
So. We know what yours is going to be, so you can just
we know yours. Yeah. Don't worry. We won't talk, It's a learning curve. I admit. But once you learn it, it works well.
It'll be in depth. we'll get into it and talk in depth about it.
All right.
It's upcoming. I'm not gonna go there today, but I did look into the flow issue. I have that flow sensor for water.
Yep.
Moen, I think, owns them now or has some kind of controlling stake in them. But FLO is the name of the company, and they have a little like device you put on your pipe, and it will measure the pressure, the temperature, and the flow rate of the water coming in. It can do some basic things like test to see if there's any like leak inside your house or anything like that. But I noticed the other day that like actually it was while you and I were working on the Home Assistant thing, Gavin, that the water usage was 0 gallons per minute. 0 gallons per minute. It had always been like since I plugged it back in, had always been 0 gallons per minute. So, I was like, well, why could this be? I looked up online, said you may need to clean this little turbine inside, and I sent them a message, and they got back to me. It's kind of like over the holiday, so I wasn't really expecting much, and it took a while for me to go out there and do anything about it. But I took it apart and found out the little magnets inside. It uses like a magnet sensor, and there's a magnet on the turbine. When it spins around, there's a little, I guess, detector at the top, and it can detect when that turbine's spinning around. There was nothing blocking it. It was just the magnets had corroded and rotted away, which says something about the water supply I have here. But I ingest that, and I'm sure that the Withings would just get rotted away too, but I'm not going to go there. So I've got one of those. $9 later, I have one of those on the way, so hopefully I'll see that soon. And I've got some other cameras I'm putting up around the house to kind of keep a better eye on Clippy so I can see what he's doing, making sure that he's mowing the lawn and making sure he's not stuck somewhere and falling off the rails. But I have been, Gavin, I gotta admit, like, you guys made fun of me when I first started this, like that you were gonna like see me like look at the open mower thing. Like, I started looking at that, and it looks kind of fun. Like they're using some fun stuff, and I kind of want to make it. I kind of want to take Clippy apart and change out his insides and give him like a super like down to like 10 centimeter GPS receiver. And yeah, it sounds kind of fun.
Like I said, I get emotional when you keep saying things like this about Clippy. Like you want to take him apart and rip open his insides. You know, it's like, poor. I hope he doesn't hear you.
If Clippy is listening to this, I did not encourage it. So don't come after me.
Me neither. I love robots.
Yeah, robots are great.
You guys are so worried about the robot urbanizing. I tell you, it's going to be so easy. There's a big red button. Just stop in the back. Just hit that.
That's what everybody thinks.
You know that big red button is a robot, right?
That robot's not going to listen to you.
Yeah,
they're gonna develop big red button shields and like put it over the top, so when you hit it, it's like,
I'm imagining like a scene out of a Futurama where the button just gets up and walks away, smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, nice try, meatbag. Yeah, yep. I don't know. I'm thinking about. I was looking at it. It seems to be kind of the same model that I have. That this guy's operated on, and he's published all this stuff for setting this thing up, and it looks kind of fun. So, yeah, I might do it. He's only got a couple videos put up, and he kind of uses some like open, I guess it's open source hardware. So like you can basically have the boards and everything made to spec and solder stuff on if you need to. I don't have all the equipment to do that, because you kind of have to like do that bake soldering thing where you put it in the oven, kind of heats it up and melts the solder at a specific rate. But we'll see what happens. I know you can get that stuff done and online, like there's a service that'll do that for you. So we'll see what happens. Could be 2.0.
Upgraded Clippy.
So Clippy 2000, I guess, because we go T1000, T2000.
Then next thing you know, Clippy will be traveling through time to go back to take out the creators of. We could see where this is going.
All of a sudden, there's like 15 Clippies in my yard, like looking at me in the morning. It's like, I am gonna glue some like googly eyes. I have decided he does need eyes, so he's gonna get some googly eyes at some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, Clippy's going to gain intellect and just realize that you actually don't need a yard. He's going to be like, why am I doing all this work when you could just get rid of the yard and then you'll come out and there'll be no grass left.
That would be great. That'd be great if he did that. That would be awesome. So
just put himself out of work.
Some eyes and a cigarette on the front.
Oh, he's over there. He's over there hooking up trash cans and making a train for a trash train or something. Oh man. All right. Well, I guess that wraps up everything. TJ, unless you got any projects that you've been able to do since you've been traveling and getting sick in Florida.
Nah, I've been traveling, getting sick. I'm about to move offices again.
What?
It's not a fun time for projects right now.
Wow.
So
yeah, no kidding. All right, well, that sounds fun.
I'm here, that's what matters.
Yep. Well, for a year you've been here, so thanks, man.
There we go.
All right, guys. I think that's going to wrap this show up. We do want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, and especially those who are able to financially support through our Patreon page. If you don't know about the Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out on the show, but every pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, the Hub, where you and other supporters of the show can gather every day for all sorts of fun conversations about which Lutron Claro color you like the best. Crazy. If you want to help out the show but can't support financially, we totally understand. We just appreciate a 5-star review or positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. We're hoping that that helps other people find the show. That wraps up another week here at HomeTech. We will see you next week.
Till next time.
Take care. Wait. TJ, you messed all that up.
You're not supposed to say anything.
New year, new me.
So my resolution, this is all I'm doing.